Brometheus. Once upon a time, the great Greek god Brometheus, the greatest of the bros, stole beer from Zeus so that he would help out his other bros and have a wild, awesome party.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Brometheus Gaming, Episode 2. I hope you liked that little introduction my brother gave of what exactly Brometheus means.
Well,
I'm one of your hosts, Robert, aka Dragonmaster. Let me turn it over to Nick.
I'm your co-host, Nick MacLeod, aka Arbeyem, and we have a special guest with us today, the one, the only, Matthew VanDerWege.
I'm the specialist of guests, and you actually said my last name right. That actually happens. Sometimes go by Matt Van, M-A-T-V-A-N-D-E. I'm really original with names. It's like my first name and my last name put together. Some people call me Van Daggersword because they don't know how to end my name. But
you know, didn't you used to go by Randatos for a while?
Back in the day, yeah, that was the main character from a story I wrote, and then I grew up.
You can't outgrow your screen name.
I outgrew my screen name, man.
You will be 420 YOLO Swag XXXL for life.
I will? Alright, I'll take it.
Oh, no scope 360 LOL.
That's
Forgot that
better.
part. Yeah.
You jerk. Don't put my accomplishments down.
Alright.
So how's it going, bros?
It's going.
Yeah,
It's going. That's all that matters.
I'm just getting over an illness. I'll try not to cough into the mic too much today. No promises, but
It's all good, man. Hey, I'm just glad that you can join us today, because I know personally I'm super excited. I know episode 1 was not the greatest, but I really enjoyed it, and I see a lot of potential in this show, and I'm just really excited to get on, have some good gamer talks.
yeah, I would have loved to have captured it in a bit higher quality, made it a bit easier on the ears, but as it stands for a first episode, it was not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm probably going to look back on it 20 episodes down the line and want to burn it in a fire and purge it from the internets, but it's part of Prometheus history now.
Definitely.
It's
Matt, you
never
watched the first
going
episode?
away. I did. There were some dry parts. There was a lot of tangents, but you have to start somewhere, and you guys got a good dynamic between the two of you that I get to wedge myself in between now, and it will be delightful.
Ooh, sexy.
Ooh, got a gamer sandwich going on tonight. Woo!
All right, guys, so let's jump into some gaming news. Nick, you want to take the first topic?
So Nintendo Direct just happened. Like to talk about all that. New Smash Brothers content. Sheik is her own character this time around. Yoshi's coming back. Zero Suit Samus is her own separate character as well. They have for fun and for glory mode, which is just turning every stage into a Zero Destination clone, which kind of disappoints me because Final Destination is a very boring stage, just one large flat platform. At least make it sort of like a Battlefield where you have a couple of layers of platforms, add a little bit of that vertical battling into there. Because as it stands with the flat stage, characters like Captain Falcon are probably going to dominate with their powerful horizontal moves.
Mm-hmm.
But they also brought up Mario Kart 8 coming out May 30th. Got a little more content.
It's really soon, May 30th.
Yeah, a month and a half away. Not too far. Personally, I've never gotten a Mario Kart on release. Speaking of which, there's a collector's edition of Mario Kart 8 coming out in Europe.
Wow, really? Just in Europe, though.
With a blue shell in the box.
Man.
Yeah, kind of pissed I can't get my hands on that one.
Sounds like a fun thing to throw at people.
Yeah. In the living room, whoever's in first just chuck the blue shell at them to make them lose focus.
So you said this is only coming out in Europe.
As far as I know.
It's probably already too late to pre-order it for this type of collector's edition, I'd assume.
I don't know. Like,
Have to go.
when Wind Waker HD came out, a month before it actually dropped, I was trying to pre-order the collector's edition that had the Ganondorf statue in it.
Mm-hmm.
And pre-orders were closed off at that point a month before.
Yeah.
Which really sucked.
I personally don't pre-order too many games. The last game I tried to pre-order, I came in 2 days before it came out, and they kind of laughed at me. At that one place which will not be named. I went in and I was like, "Hey, can I pre-order Bravely Default?" And they're like, "Of course you can. You only have to put $5 down too." I was like, "Cool. Can I get the collector's edition?" And I just see the manager behind the counter, like this little. She has this like snicker. She's like, "Why didn't you pre-order it 2 months ago?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't know it worked that way." And so I still haven't played Bravely Default, but I was really. That is the first collector's edition that's coming around in a while where I was like, wow, I'm willing to put the money down on this, no problem.
So this place that you went in to get it, do you tend to stop in there occasionally to purchase games?
Oh my god, you are the pun master. Yeah. Personally, I mean, let's just throw it out there on the table, GameStop talk. I don't like going to GameStop.
Oh, is that what we're talking about?
No, Rhino Games. Yeah. I mean, Jesus, guys.
Hold up. I got
Funkoland?
Funkoland.
I got the worst look from an employee on his face because he had I was asking him about specific games. I was like excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't remember what the specific game was, but I was like, there's only one copy I see out there and it doesn't have a manual. Do you have another one behind the counter? He was like, why? What does it matter? I'm like, dude, I know it's a different price from new, but if I'm buying this, I want the complete package. I want the original artwork. I want the original case. I want, the manual and all other inserts if it comes with it. And I want the disc to be at least an 8 out of 10. Some scratches are fine, and I understand that, but I swear, for most GameStops, from what I experience, they don't give a shit. If it looks I won't even say if it looks decent, because I've gotten some discs that are just scratched to hell. So I think it's just, if it's probably an expensive game that still trades in for a bit, they're probably like, oh, whatever, and they just take it in. That's a massive headache. I know. I want to take a wild guess here that both of y'all have had bad experiences with GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since we're on the subject, I'll go ahead and toss out my worst experience, because why not? Went into a GameStop with my wife and a guy who actually worked at that location, so I'm kind of afraid I might have gotten him fired after this, but anyways.
I don't know if I've heard this story.
No, this was actually right before I moved to Japan. Castlevania Collector's Edition, Lords of Shadow. Sitting out there looking glorious, same exact price as the regular edition. Woo-hoo! Got my jimmies a little rustled seeing that out there in the wild. So, take it up to the counter, and I'm talking to the guy who's apparently the manager of this location. And he's like, bro, why are you getting this version? You know the HD remaster's coming out in a couple weeks, right? I'm like, that's fine, I just want to get this. He's like, well, with the HD remaster you get this one and the 3DS version all in one. I don't care, I want this collector's edition. Well, this one doesn't have the music CD in it. Oh, what happened to that? I took it home after it got traded in.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
This guy took the music CD.
Really? He was the manager, and he said that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So instead of buying the game, you took this out of there, took it home to add to your personal music collection?
I would have asked for his address and been like, I'm purchasing this. I'm coming to your place when you get off. You better have the damn disc ready.
That was actually one of the first times I've complained to corporate for any company, simply because that was some damn bullshit right there.
Oh, you shouldn't be able to do something like that.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
He's stealing from the store at that point.
Yeah, I think so.
The fact that
I'm sure certain people will try and justify it and say, oh, it's just a music CD. But that's part of the collection that got traded in.
His justification was the only thing that they have to have is the disc for the game. anything else is up for grabs pretty much.
So hold up. So he can take any game that's traded in a week after release, take the insert, the manual, the original case, the Xbox Live codes that come in it for the 48-hour free trial. He can take it all as long as the disc is there.
That's his logic.
Case.
Yep.
GameStop, I'm sorry, but you are fucking up. And Walmart enters the used game market, they just destroy you because your practices and policies just blow my mind. How you claim to cater to a hardcore gaming market and then just proceed to pull stunts like this, it blows my mind.
Well, to be fair, I did get a call from corporate a couple weeks later offering an apology saying this is definitely not store policy. What he did was against what we do. So I understand this may have just been the actions of one particular manager, but it happens, is all I'm saying.
That's what they said, but it happens?
No. That's what I'm saying. It happens. They're saying they don't stand by it at all. But just the fact that he pulled this up in casual conversation trying to push a sale of another edition, which I don't even know why he's trying to push it, because I'm pretty sure their margins on new games are far less than what they're making from a used game sale.
I think probably, I know they have quotas to fulfill for pre-orders, so I'm probably sure that factored into that.
Yeah, but if he's the manager, does he really have to worry about that so much?
Yeah, he does. As far as I know, he still has to make a certain quota of pre-orders and GameStop power-up reward cards.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not trying to make any sweeping statements about GameStop in general, but that one was pretty much the last straw for me.
Oh, that's understandable, and obviously GameStop is not in Japan, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about that for 2.5 years.
I'm actually stuck with a greater evil out here, which is the Naval Game Exchange, which I don't want to trash talk particularly because the Navy kind of employs me, but they have a monopoly on English games out here, so any used game you want to go pick up is going to be $3 to $5 off new price no matter what. Even if the new game's marked 50% off up front, it's still $3 to $5 off the brand new price anywhere. Yeah.
Looks like you ought to be sticking to online ordering for your games.
Yeah.
And, of course, mom and pop shops out in Japan for your Japanese stuff. But as far as English games go, you sound kind of screwed.
Yeah, I am loving Amazon, but having to wait at least 2 weeks for new releases is kind of painful. I'm still waiting on my Reaper of Souls Collector's Edition to come in the mail, which that released March 20th. It's now the 13th of April, or March 25th. I'm sorry. So, yeah, it's painful.
I mean, it comes with the job in the territory, so...
Right. Okay, so, yeah, we were talking about Nintendo Direct. That kind of went off for a minute there. That pretty much covered everything. Let's move on to the next topic for news, Matt.
So in saving you money news, the Humble Indie store is a great place for it. And they have a Humble weekly bundle as they usually do. PewDiePie Saves the Children is this week's. They have Surgeon Simulator 2013 Guacamelee Gold Edition, QWOP for Android, a little random. For $6, you get Speedrunners Early Access and Gary's Mod. You hit $10, you get Probably Archery, which is probably a game. And for $15, you get State of Decay, which for $15 alone, State of Decay, I'd say, is well worth it. That's a pretty cool game. And then you also get some other pretty cool games. Surgeon Simulator's a thing. Guacamelee, I've heard, is great. Gary's Mod, of course, is great. Speedrunners is a pretty fantastic game, though I haven't played it myself. And I mean, QWOP, who doesn't want that on their phone, besides probably most people, but what can you do, right? And you also get a couple soundtracks, Speedrunners, Guacamelee, and Surgeon Simulator, which, if you like game music and not having GameStop managers take it, you can get it at the Humble Weekly sale.
They don't really have a way to steal that one, do they?
I feel if they could, they'd try to find a way. But,
I'm sure they're working on it.
Yeah, I'd just like to throw this out there for everybody listening. The link is humblebundle.com. Definitely a great thing. You get cheap games and you support charity at the same time. This bundle we're talking about is for the Save the Children charity. It's the best of both worlds, games and actually caring about people.
There's over 4 more days bit over 4 more days left on this bundle. So if you like cool games and charity and saving money and probably archery, go get that. I'd get it, but I have most of these games, except I don't have Guacamelee, so I might be spending some money when we're done here. Wish me luck.
And then you can gift me all the stuff that you already have, right?
Maybe.
They have been bundling those Steam codes together lately, making it a bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Move on to topic number 3. Last of Us has been announced, the remastered edition for PlayStation 4. This is something I could say I kind of saw coming from a mile away when this game came out as late as it did in the PlayStation 3's life cycle. Obviously, PlayStation 3 is still going, but it's been confirmed. Apparently, it's been worked on for a long time, and it has been in development. Let's see. It's a new interview has come out according to, let's see, IGN, and it's been saying PS4 development has begun basically since the original game wrapped up. And what they're saying with this version, they've been quoted as saying, is the graphic fidelity has been turned up to 11. We've got 1080p, and we're pushing the draw distances further, and creating higher resolution character models and better lighting with better shadows. Personally, I thought, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me on this one, The Last of Us was one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 3. Definitely pushed that system to the limits. Did either of y'all play The Last of Us?
I played it for a bit. It's definitely a pretty game. Good story and everything. It's Naughty Dog. They do what they do. I got stuck at some point. The combat kind of gets repetitive, and I hit a wall. But I probably should finish that game at some point.
Yeah, you should definitely finish it. I know, excuse me, I beat it when I originally picked it up at launch, and I loved every minute of it. And I do see where people could say it does get a little bit repetitive in the combat, but overall, it was definitely a very positive experience. A 9 out of 10 in my book. I'm excited for it coming out on PlayStation 4. Obviously, it's not going to be a system seller for me, but I intend to have the PlayStation 4 sometime within this year, and I'll be picking this up again. No questions asked.
Yeah, personally, as someone who hasn't played it yet, it doesn't sound like much content is being added.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't played either version, it does sound like the way to go at this point.
Now, from what I do understand, though, and I haven't played the DLC should be included out of the box.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So that's always a plus. Yeah, if you haven't played it yet and you have a PlayStation 4 and it comes around, I should probably pick up the PlayStation 4 version.
Yeah, seeing as how those of us who've been waiting for a price drop on the PS3 version, it's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah, this game, from what I understand, has actually retained its value more than even GTA 5. And probably GTA 5, the only reason the price has gone down is because of how many second-hand copies have come onto the market, because of how many were sold overall.
It's so saturated right now. But it's still only come down to, what, like 45 used?
For Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
It might be about 40. I'm not sure. I think Last of Us, last time I saw it, was 45, maybe even 50 still.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I'm out of the loop for legitimate used game prices. Used GTA 5 out here is still 55.
Mm-hmm. At that point, you might as well just buy new, right?
Yeah. And seriously, make sure you get everything with it.
Which, I mean, if it's not on the news topic, but who here played GTA 5? We're just talking about great games from last generation.
Another game I didn't finish that I probably should finish.
How far did you get into it?
I was about to start a heist with a boat.
You're probably about
right.
to the little submarine thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Whoa, spoilers, people.
There's a submarine. I don't know. You're probably about 2/3 through the game.
Is it yellow?
Yes, it's yellow, and I finished. I'm actually not sure, but I finished the single player campaign. It took about 22 to 24 hours, I think. I haven't even got online with the multiplayer, so probably need to get on that.
I tried the online multiplayer when it first came out, and it's pretty cool in some ways. I mean, you're roaming around the world with a couple other people, not enough. It felt like sometimes you could be on the opposite side of the city. Everyone's over there. You don't see a lot of people, and then you go to missions, and it's a death match that are none of the people that you were in the area with. And there are some missions that'll pop up on occasion, and those are great. Like you'll be in a co-op mission where you're driving and there's another guy randomly with you, and he can grab his own car, he can get in the passenger seat, and you got to go bust on these fools. And those are fun, but they seem really few and far between, and I could never find a way to intentionally trigger them, which was a bummer, but it was fun.
Yeah, good stuff. And bring it back to the original topic. I know everybody's waiting for GTA 5 to be announced on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and we haven't heard anything of the sort yet, but everybody's waiting for it.
Yeah, which you'd think it'd be coming considering how late that game dropped in the cycle.
Yeah, and I understand them not wanting to announce a version for these newer systems because they don't want it to affect the current install base they have. Because on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, think about how many of those were out and sold, and and just those are in basically every gamer. One of the two were in every gamer's, usually living room.
Right.
So
sort of like what they did with Titanfall, they released the Xbox One version a few weeks in advance just to try to move systems. I guess it's more the opposite.
Yeah, but it's still on the same idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So y'all want to move on to what we've been playing?
Let's do it.
All right. He wants to. I guess I'll take it first. If you listen to the first podcast, you will know that I was just over halfway through in Catherine last episode. I've been playing on easy, and I did finish it this week. And it was certainly an interesting game. I got the normal cheater ending, which I'm totally fine with, not to give too much away from the game. But it was definitely a good overall experience. It was I liked how fresh it was, the interaction between characters in between levels and just the whole puzzle aspect really worked for me. I enjoyed it a lot. Did either of y'all play Catherine?
I did. Interesting is definitely a good word for that game. It's not a subject matter you see broached in video games, especially of relationships and people and drinking with your friends and being a sheep man on blocks. But I really enjoyed it. I played it on either normal or harder difficulty, and at some points I really wished I hadn't. But it something about the way that the puzzle is just a puzzle half of the game, and it had a very good feel to it once you got the systems down.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember I didn't even do well in the first couple of levels, but once you really get just that technique down and you can see the patterns in your head 6 moves ahead easily, and it just opens it up totally from then on. I would definitely recommend, if you're playing it for the first time, I would start with easy. I died more than a handful of times. I freaking rage quit once, and that was on easy mode, and I consider myself pretty good at video games and puzzle games, so.
See, that's a funny thing. I didn't even know Catherine was a puzzle game until you brought it up. Like,
really?
You just don't see it as that kind of game looking at the cover.
I think you kind of, if you were to think it, you're just, I mean, what would you think? Because I would think like almost a dating simulator.
I kind of figured it'd be kind of like the Persona series, RPG mixed in with text choices,
Especially coming out of Atlas.
Right.
Yeah. So, other than Catherine, I've been playing a lot of Sega Saturn this week. I've just been going back and diving into that collection. I really enjoy the Saturn overall as a system. Obviously, I didn't have it as a kid because of how expensive it was. So it's really been cool as a collector to go back, to go and find Sega Saturn games. And you don't find them very often in the wild, but when I find any decent game in good condition, I make sure to pick it up. Other than that, I've also been getting back into Dark Souls 1 on 360, and I've been just getting my ass kicked. And my brother basically reminded me of the strategy I needed to defeat the second boss, and now I just feel like a complete idiot because I probably wasted 2 hours when I could have just ran up the tower and freaking plunged down on this dude. But I digress. Enough about that.
Dark Souls.
Yep. Who wants to one of y'all? Who wants to take it next? What have y'all been playing?
I'll go ahead since it's kind of related. I've been playing Dark Souls.
Hold up 1 second. I have to step away for just a second, people. I promise I'll be right back. Take it away, guys. I'll be right back.
Right. Personally, I've been playing Dark Souls 2 right now. I just completed my second playthrough of the game. I'm level 230-ish, which feels pretty awesome. It's a damn good game. I mean, I've been pretty engrossed by it. It's long. I don't like how... I've nearly gotten every single achievement with it, except for to get... There's achievements for getting all of the spells of certain categories, sorceries, pyromancy, miracles, and recently introduced hexes. To get some of these spells, it's either do a shitload of PvP or get to New Game Plus, your third go around. So I'm already almost at New Game Plus. I do want to 100% this game because it is so much fun.
It's very good.
Yeah, I can't think of the last game where I've just sat there all day playing it over and over, getting frustrated and still not wanting to turn it off.
And dying to a boss only to learn that you missed something obvious like jumping on him.
Yeah, I mean...
That is Dark Souls in a nutshell. I've been playing it too. I haven't finished it yet. I got it earlier than you, and you've beaten it more times than I have. I don't know what that says about me, but yeah, it's a very good game. I'm past the third major boss and still plugging away every other day or so. Definitely glad to have more Dark Souls in my life.
Oh yeah, I mean it definitely feels like more of the same compared to Dark Souls 1, but there's just such an egregious amount of content to get engrossed in. I'm not even mad.
Yeah, every time you think you're at the end of an area, you find spokes leading off of that area that lead to 2 more areas.
Yeah, really. And I love how much detail they've put into the environments. Like, I'll go through an area that I've thought I've mastered at this point, being on my second playthrough, and find a chest and be like, where the fuck did that come from? How did I miss that this entire time? Yeah.
Now here's a very specific question for you, but your first mimic encounter, was it better or worse than your first Dark Souls 1 mimic encounter? Because those things are creepy.
It was definitely an oh shit moment, because from Dark Souls 1 I'd picked up the habit of whacking a chest every time I walked by, just in case. And I got like a good portion through the game without finding any mimics, so I'm like, oh, maybe there just aren't mimics in this one.
Yeah, you see the traps early, you think maybe there are just traps.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then get eaten.
And then all of a sudden, I'm opening one up and I see teeth and arms come out, and I'm like, oh, roll away, no. And then I get eaten.
Yes.
And it looks like the eating is auto death if you get caught, so...
Yeah, I haven't escaped yet. I don't know if there's a mash your buttons trick like there was in the first one, but...
Hey, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine, but your video's frozen on my end.
It's still frozen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. My internet's acting funky. Sorry, I didn't mean to break up y'all's pacing there. Do you want to drop me and reconnect, and y'all keep on going?
Yeah, just go ahead, end this call, and
You'll add me back?
yeah, here, I kicked you out.
That's what he gets.
I don't think he can
Interrupting the Dark Souls hour of Dark Souls. We could talk about that all day.
That is a good name for the segment, the Dark Souls Hour of Dark Souls.
Yep, I'm okay with that.
Calling it now.
Am I frozen?
Loading.
Yep. So while he's loading, what else have you played this
Am
week?
I moving back and forth?
We're still seeing a
Can't
circle.
see anything. We'll let you know when we can see if we can see it.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Shoot, there was another game I was playing, but it recently slipped my mind. Was there something else you had while I think about it?
Plenty. Dark Souls 2, obviously, but we talked about that. The third episode of The Wolf Among Us came out. I'm not sure
yeah?
what day. Couple days ago, and I hadn't finished the second episode, and then I decided to finish it, and I played through the third episode of The Wolf Among Us in one sitting.
Nice.
It really gripped me. That episode takes some pretty good turns. Obviously, not to go into too much specifics, but if you like those style of games from Telltale, and you haven't played them, unless you're waiting until it all comes out, you gotta jump on Wolf Among Us. Go full wolf mode.
I did play The Walking Dead from them, only 2 or 3 of the chapters, so the pacing was really slow for my taste, especially how I couldn't get Lee to get a little hitch in his giddy up through a lot of the areas.
Yeah.
How's this compare?
It seems to me a lot of the environments are a lot smaller. So if you're in a big environment, you're in a fight that's a quick time event or something like that. So there's a lot less bumbling around and trying to figure out what the camera angle will let you do. I think as Telltale's going along with this, starting with The Walking Dead, they've had some really great storytelling in games.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to take a short intermission here just to try to figure out Robert's technical issues, and we'll pick right back up from where we're leaving off, okay?
All right.
We're back.
We can see Dragonmaster in all of his righteous glory.
Oh man, y'all folks just missed. Oh, sorry about that. You just missed me singing some Eddie Murphy. So
would you like to grace the audience?
No, that's never happening again. That was spur of the moment.
Let's not do that to those people.
All right.
We're not doing it.
So do you remember the game that you had played, Nick?
No, I'm just gonna forget it. Obviously, I didn't play it, therefore it doesn't exist.
Oh goodness.
So let's move on to the next topic.
All right. We're gonna do a couple of just random topics here. We're just gonna roll with it. So let's start off with the first one. This one just popped into my head today. I was thinking about achievements and trophies in video games. Have either of y'all ever been a trophy whore before? Because I know I have been for a short time.
Personally, no. I really don't give two craps about the achievement list when I see them. Especially on the PS3, because at least with the Xbox, you get a quantitative value associated with your gaming accomplishments.
It does look nice and pretty when it gets all big like.
Yeah. If I'm playing a game that I really enjoy, and over the course of naturally playing the game, I've gotten most of the achievements, I may take my time to go just try to clear it up, but it's usually not a priority for me.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing, though, because I've made the mistake, must have been 2 or 3 years into the 360's lifespan. On my second 360, I had, what is it, Gamefly, the rental service, and I was renting games specifically just for my gamer score.
Avatar.
I didn't do Avatar, but I did like Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, which in 3 hours I was able to get 1,000 gamer score.
Isn't there a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that it just had one achievement for beating the game for 1,000 points?
I'm sure there is. I mean, I can't remember exactly what I did. They're like just some earlier
game, I think.
Yeah, the earlier launch titles had really easy achievements. Like some of them only had like 10 actual achievements worth 100 score each. So yeah, I did a little bit of that, but eventually I came to my senses and I was like, you know what, my people on my friends list aren't really looking at this, and not validating myself as a gamer by having a big gamer score. But it was something that made me play games that I never thought I would play, so I guess that's a good thing. There's a silver lining to it. Yeah. But so what do you think has a more satisfying pop noise when you get a trophy or an achievement? PS3 or 360?
Does the PS3 have one? Maybe I just haven't played enough.
It's like a little tink, doink. Personally, I like the 360 ones, except for they definitely should have made them a little more opaque so that you can still see your game through them.
Right.
Because just having it pop up in the middle of your screen when there might be a message showing up right under that really sucks. But it is satisfying, especially when you see some of the bigger number ones go like 50 points, 100 points. You're like, oh yeah, I did something good.
Yeah.
That was me.
Whereas PlayStation's, you got the bronze trophy for, I don't know. It just doesn't feel satisfying.
Yeah, I've never once cared when a PS3 trophy apparently pops up, because I apparently never have noticed it. But when an achievement pops up on 360, I get a little happy.
Yeah.
It's someone messaging me on Facebook. It's great.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's only one game that I tried to get that I did get all the trophies for on PS3, and it was a game called Tokyo Jungle. Have either of you heard of this?
I've heard of it.
I've been wanting to play that game.
I had a LAN party a couple months before I moved out here with a bunch of buddies. One of them cracked out his PS3, and they were playing some co-op Tokyo Jungle. And I'm just looking at it like, what the hell is this game? They're like running around as like a deer and a coyote, running around killing animals and eating plants in the middle of an urban environment. I'm like, what is this? It's really awesome looking, so I ended up buying it. Super fun game. Dumped a day or two into it. But I was disappointed because I got all the trophies, and I'm like, sweet, platinum, right? No, this game apparently doesn't give you a platinum trophy for getting all the freaking trophies.
Nice.
What?
Yep. But yeah, Tokyo Jungle, highly recommend it.
Is that a...
Download only, PSN.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. So, yeah, definitely sounds interesting. Alright, y'all want to move on to the next topic? Matt, I think you should take this one.
Yeah, so not exactly video games, but board games have games in the board game name. Not to get all rhymey on you, but it's a habit. Maybe this could be a segment when I'm the guest host, but I could recommend a board game every time. And of course, if you guys are playing any games, that's always fun to talk about. I could talk about board games for as long as I can talk about Dark Souls.
Alright, let's spend 30 minutes talking about Munchkin.
So Munchkin is a pretty great game.
Robert, have you ever played Munchkin?
No, I'm going to sit back and listen to this.
Oh, it's glorious.
Take the floor.
Well, I don't want to interrupt Matt's segment in case he was going to talk about something different, but it's basically a card game RPG, which is very snarky on the genre. It's fun to get a group of people together. There's a cheat card in there where it's like any card that you may not be able to play under normal circumstances, you can play it, so all of a sudden you can wield a two-handed weapon when you already have two weapons already. Fun game. I mean, very snarky. Quotient of Pawn Fusion.
Chicken on your head.
Yeah. Or the curse, duck on your head. You should have known better than to pick up a duck in the dungeon.
God, it looked like such a good idea. But yeah, it's a great game if you have probably at least 4 people is all you need. But you can, as long as you have enough expansions, which is another great thing about that game, the themed expansions. It's really easy to teach. There's two basic types of cards, the doors and the stuff.
Treasure.
The stuff you use, yeah, the treasure you use, and the doors are a monster or a curse or sometimes a class or race. Because you start out as a classless human, and they absolutely love that joke in the rulebook.
You start off as a human with no class.
That's right.
Yeah.
And part of the rules of that game is it's not cheating if you don't get caught.
Yeah.
I believe that is actually in the rulebook. So if you slip that door card, you accidentally grab 2, and they didn't catch you, man, you win. It's part of the game. You little munchkin.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting towards the end when you have these ridiculous loadouts on your character and you're like, I've got 2, 7, my total attack power is 32, his is 17, and the monsters, yeah.
And the monsters all of a sudden doubled, and there's 3 of them, and you can't fight with anybody else.
And I've got on my pantyhose of gender confusion, so I'm counted as female for this fight.
As you always wanted, but...
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're mad because they threw all these things at you, so that means the next guy will win.
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
get the level 1 plant monster.
That's always how it goes.
It's a fantastic game. It's really hard to not have fun in that game.
But
Munchkin.
I hate that I derailed this whole thing. What game were you going to talk about?
For my first, I guess, segment here, the one I was going to recommend was a game called Betrayal at House on the Hill. It's one way you can kind of think of it is Scooby-Doo the board game. You are a series of investigators going into a spooky mansion, and the way the game works is there are 6 different characters, two types for each character, and there's 4 stats, 2 physical, 2 mental, and everyone starts inside the house. You have a floor tile that is kind of the main entryway. You have a roof or a ceiling tile and a basement tile, and you move into an open area where there is a door. You flip over a tile that corresponds to that room type, and that's where you walked into. So you walk out of the main hallway, there's the bedroom. There's a couple different icons, like there could be an item there could be an event, or the haunt. And the haunts are usually items that make you stronger, and every time a haunt comes up, you roll, I believe, 6 dice, and if you roll less than the number of haunts, then the haunt triggers. And that's where the game really gets interesting, and you find out who the betrayer at the house on the hill is. So you look at where the haunt was, the haunt card itself, and I think a couple other factors, and there are 50 different endgame, basically, scenarios that can happen. One of the players are usually a traitor. They get their own rule book and read the scenario and see what they know, what they have to do. And the other players, he leaves the room, he goes away, he does his thing. The other players read their information, and they don't all get the same information. So the players know what they might have to do to succeed. The traitor will know what he might have to do to succeed. It's another really easy game to teach. I mean, you guys could pretty much play it already, just with a couple more instances on combat and all that. But if you're into really easy to teach board games besides Munchkin, well, it's a card game anyway, but Betrayal at House on the Hill is absolutely a great game. 3 to 6 players, and I've never had a time when I played it with people that they didn't have a blast.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely
Sam traitor.
I'm a fan of those games where you have a traitor amongst us, where you're not supposed to know. But it does always seem like that one particular friend who's kind of shifty always ends up the traitor, like.
And the thing about most of the scenarios is you know who the traitor is when the haunt happens. Before you're building up your deck, you're getting items, you're basically building up the house. And when the haunt happens, kind of the real game starts, and you have your rules and everything, and you know who the traitor is, usually. The first time I actually played it, there was a scenario where one of the investigators were infected by an alien. It was me. And this was a hidden traitor. So everyone got 2 tokens that are numbered, and if you had probably a 1, then you were the infected. And every time 2 investigators walk by each other, they trade 1 token secretly. You don't look at what you trade, you shuffle them up and pass it over and look at it. And if you're infected, then you're infected now. And part of the resolution to that was the investigators had to find a couple different types of items scattered around the house and bring them to the lab and make a cure, and then they win. It's as simple as that. And I was, of course, very instrumental in finding the pieces. And I told everyone, make sure you drop the pieces in the lab. We don't want them getting taken off and someone getting killed. And when the near last piece was dropped, I took them and ran. Whatever. I think I had to kill all the remaining players or something, but I won that game.
Nice.
It was very fun.
Very nice.
Yes.
Good stuff.
So Munchkin, Betrayal at House on the Hill. If you're into good card games, board games, check them out, people.
All right.
That's
good stuff. We I've prepared a little transition here for our next topic. This is on the topic of board games, and I'm gonna pull. It's about a 30-second YouTube clip here, but this is gonna. The next person we're about to talk to, he also does a series on YouTube about board games specifically. So let me just get right into this, and I'll pull it up. So my mic will be muted for just a second, but as soon as I hear me, y'all hear me come back on, obviously it's over. So here it is.
I'm not getting it.
Fuck you, you motherfucking piece of shit.
What?
I got that one.
Yeah, guys, you want to play this game or what?
All right, so everybody plays as a colored fish swimming around the ocean. But watch out, here comes the shark trying to eat your fish.
It's a good-looking shark, guy. What kind of shark is that?
Great white. So on your turn, you roll a dice, and if your fish's color comes up, you move a space.
How old is this shark?
What does it matter how old the shark is?
Forget it.
What the hell was that?
Board James.
Yeah, so if you hadn't guessed already, that's Fort James with motherfucker Mike and Bootsy. It was not the greatest transition, but God, any excuse to play that clip. I love how it started out, but yeah. So James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, aka Board James, is going to be our next topic of discussion. I know I've been following the Angry Video Game Nerd ever since he's been out on YouTube. Basically, I want to say 2007 is when I really started watching him, and I've watched every single episode. Have either of y'all checked him out on the internets?
Once or twice, I've watched all of the videos. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
I've stumbled across a few clips, but I haven't followed him or anything at this point.
I know, like specifically, we watched like the Sega CD and the 32X review at your place before.
Right.
So you know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a huge presence on YouTube. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure he's surpassed the million subscriber mark at this point. The biggest news as far as him is that he's announced, or it's been announced for a while and it's been in the works, but apparently it's nearing completion. He's doing the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, which a lot of people are excited for. From what I've heard, though, it's only going to play in like select theaters, but this is like I feel like this is a big thing for the YouTube community as a whole. Like, this guy just started out making little YouTube videos, funny clips like that, and here he is now. Basically, this is his job, and he's making his live stream just come through all this. I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you stick to YouTube and you're good enough, something will come of it eventually.
Well, this is one case out of how many thousands or millions of content producers?
I mean, hey, Debbie Downer. I mean, I'll be honest. There's other people. He's one of the biggest personalities that's come out of YouTube, but
Right.
there are hundreds of people that are just as successful as him.
That's true.
He definitely has a style where some of the more scatological humor drags on for a ways, and we don't need to see you take a third dump on the Bugs Bunny Goes to Paradise or whatever game he's playing today.
I'm off for all the fake duty he wants to throw our way. That's just me. That's probably just me being immature.
So have they talked about any details about the movie yet?
Yeah, he has a little vlog thing on his Cinemassacre website, which he's been keeping track of basically the whole thing. But as far as I know, like, principal photography and whatnot is done on this. So, or all the main shooting. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with my technical terms. But yeah, so we should probably see it by the end of the year. And if you haven't checked him out, obviously, if you're on YouTube and you're searching video game related content, you've had to come across them.
I feel like you should be up on your movie technical lingo at this point, because weren't you a Canadian lumberjack for a year preparing for a role?
Jesus Christ. That is a vastly not even relevant subject that will probably never be touched on this podcast. But
Oh, come on. That was a great transition for it.
I'd rather not, man.
All right, fine.
Let's move on. Nick, you want to take on our final subject here?
Yeah, sure. So, as you can probably tell, behind Dragonmaster, there is a beautiful, glorious, sexy-looking collection of video games there. If you're watching this in the video format. Personally, I too collect video games. Matt, being the peasant that he is, will go for Steam sales and humble bundles. And
I'm a poor Walmart employee.
Yeah.
I'm not doing too much better.
But so Robert and I, we collect video games, and we wanted to discuss some of the things that make it difficult in the hard knock life of a collector. So, Robert, what's something that's been pissing you off collecting lately?
Finding GameCube games, finding PlayStation games, finding NES games for a reasonable price, and finding launch window 360 games because no GameStop carries them for some reason.
Yeah, haven't they been clearing out the 360 and PS3 stock already?
Yeah,
kind of premature.
They are, but like part of my collection with the 360 is I'm trying to go back and get every launch or launch window game, because the 360 was really an interesting time for me as a gamer. I was like 17, 18 at the time, and I finally had a job where I could go out and buy games if I wanted to. So it was really the first system I dabbled in with like some real hardcore collecting, like buying collector's editions and stuff day one and stuff like that. So as hard as it is for some people to say to be nostalgic for the 360, I already am.
Yeah, I think that is interesting considering the fact that it's only been in the recent few years that either of us have been able to get seriously into collecting, actually having our own jobs, having our own money, being out of the house, whereas when we were children, we had games, but they just disappeared, man.
Yeah.
Parents were doing some shady stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we were kids, and we stupidly sold stuff to GameStop. Obviously, I wouldn't sell any video game now unless it was. I'll be honest. If I had to part with my collection, I honestly could. It wouldn't kill me, but I'm not parting with it unless I absolutely have to. I've been building this up for a while, and something I'm kind of proud of.
Speaking of stupid childhood decisions, remember when it was my birthday one year? Game Boy Advance had just recently come out, and we went to GameStop. And I was like,
you got the fuchsia Game Boy.
Let's be honest. It was a pink Game Boy. It was the only one they had left, and I was so impatient. I had to get the pink Game Boy, and I rocked that shit for at least 5 years.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, honestly, that doesn't even bother me in the slightest. I mean, maybe it did when we were like teenagers or kids, because we were trying to impress our friends. And you don't want pink because it's a girly color. I could care less now. I could care less if I bought a system and it was the SpongeBob SquarePants edition or some stupid crap.
Hell, I think that would add some collector's value to us at this point.
I'm sure it would. I mean, I know there's a SpongeBob Game Boy Advance SP. It's actually kind of highly sought after.
Oh yeah, there's a Pokemon Yellow Game Boy Color as well.
There sure was.
I saw it in a thrift shop, and I about crapped my pants because I thought it said $20 on it, complete in box, sealed up, and everything. So I asked the person behind the register. They're like, "That's not 20, that's 200." I'm like, "Oh Jesus."
Yep, that pawn shop kind of sucked. I got a Wavebird out of there, but it was marked $4. I was like, great, fantastic deal. Where's the receiver? The receiver's in there, and I'm like, the lady's ringing me up, and I was like, the receiver goes with that controller. She's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, yeah, it does. I'm like, well, how much is the receiver? And she said $4. So I'm like, really, you're gonna charge me $4 for each piece? And granted, $8 for a complete Wavebird is not. It was still a really good deal. It was just like, it's so odd that a pawn shop would do something like that. Price the receiver and controller separately.
They probably didn't know any better. Those things went for what, 40 brand new?
Yeah, probably about 40. I know I had one when we had our GameCube when it first, or when the Wavebird first came out. I had one.
Yeah, I picked one up a couple years ago. Great purchase. It came with a GameCube for like $10. So I mean, it was a great wireless controller. It was one of the first too. First that worked well.
First that worked well, and it worked off of RF frequencies also. So yay, technology.
Yeah, so I want to bring up another thing that's been angering me as a collector. Have you noticed that manuals have been pretty much disappearing lately?
Yeah, in fact, I bought a 360 game last week. I don't even know what it was. Oh, no, it was It was a 007 Quantum of Solace, $2 game on 360, which in fact is actually a really decent game. It's built on the Call of Duty 4 engine, and oh, look how I can't tell how thick or thin that was.
It's
But,
two
uh,
pages. Yeah.
2 pages. Yeah, basically, I picked up the game and I was contemplating not purchasing it because when I picked it up, it felt like it had no manual in it. Sure enough, it was in there, but it's literally 2 or 4 pages.
Yeah. I picked up South Park Stick of Truth, and I was so disappointed when I got home, opened it up. The only thing in the case besides the disc was the insert for the Fellowship DLC armor or whatever it was.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, The Last of Us, when I bought that, had no manual. It only had a digital manual.
which it's disappointing in that now there's really no reason not to buy it used because you're still getting the full package if you got the case in the game.
Or
Mhm.
just go digital.
Let's not hold up there, Sally.
Let's not get crazy.
Like our
humble
physical
bundle.
copies over here.
Yeah, I'm not going to do well if it becomes all digital.
It does seem to be leaning that way, though.
Mhm. It has its conveniences.
Yeah, especially for me out here, instead of waiting at least 2 weeks for shipping. That's great.
Hmm.
But I like my physical copies.
Mhm.
Yeah, I kind of did too, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, which is why it was very disappointing to get that Wii U Wind Waker HD bundle with the glorious controller tablet that came with it, but a digital download of the game. And who thinks a digital download of an art book is a
What is
good
good
thing?
is that?
I've seen that popping up a lot lately. They're like, get the digital deluxe collector's edition and you get the download of the art book that will be online for everybody else to see as soon as the first copy goes out.
Yeah, that's just really weird. I mean, I guess people have massive TVs and it could look really nice on a certain TV pulled up, but it's not an incentive for me, personally.
No,
Not the same as a print on a page.
my work,
Definitely.
my games that I get mailed here come into my work, so it's really nice being able to sit at my desk, pop open that game with the art book, and just flip through it while waiting for the day to end so I can get home and play it.
Hmm.
But just looking at art on the computer, screenshots, why?
Yeah. Well, it's probably not going to get any better, so what can you do?
Yeah. Also, speaking of the cases and what comes in them, have you noticed how ridiculously flimsy they've been getting lately too? They've got the recycling shape cut out on
Well,
both
yeah,
sides
I mean,
now.
that's obviously to reduce the amount of plastic they use, but it does make it ridiculously flimsy.
Yeah, and I'm afraid of breaking a case every time I go to open it.
I mean, I think DVD cases overall are going to hold up better in the long run than like CD cases and even cases like Sega Saturn because the
That's true.
hinges tend to break off and the little teeth in the inside of CD cases break off and they don't hold your disc as well, and that causes rattling and whatnot. Yeah, I really wish they had. I really wish they hadn't gone the cheaper route with the way they are with the DVD cases, but it's. I mean, you can personally probably go out and purchase better cases and replace them if you really wanted to, but
As a collector, that doesn't really seem like the best
that
option,
also and that also defeats
It's depressing seeing this trend towards a tiny piece of plastic encasing a CD and that's it. Like, I'm wondering if, in the move to reduce plastic, if we're gonna start getting half-size cases that are just DVD sized.
like the DVD style case but the size of a CD
Right.
case. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It would be interesting, but I think before they even got there, they'd probably just decide to go all digital.
Don't say those words, man.
I don't want to say those words, trust me. I hate digital just as much as the next collector.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not fun buying your shiny new game and having to download 47 gigabytes. But
Yeah, that was
it's time's
Titanfall.
sake.
Wait, was that pure digital 47 gigs?
Yes.
Wow.
How long did that take to download?
Well, on my 4G Verizon phone, probably 4, 5, 6 hours, somewhere in there. I watched a lot of TV with my girlfriend at the time.
That's actually not that horrible for that size download. I was expecting far worse.
Yeah, if I had my old internet, that would have been weeks of download. Not a whole lot of play.
Well, hell, I've only got a 4 gig 360. I can't download anything. Might have to upgrade.
I've got a 4 gig 360 too, but it has the original 20 gig hard drive in there. If you haven't heard, it's the exact. The Slim and the original 360 take the exact same hard drive. It's just the casing is different. The actual, once you open it up, the actual physical hard drive in there is exactly the same. And so I had a 20 gig left over from my second Pro Model 360, and instead of just throwing a USB stick on the back, I decided to just take that hard drive apart, and I was able to slide the hard drive in the Slim. And it has worked flawlessly ever since I've had it in there.
Nice.
Yep. So yeah, there's other options if you want to buy a 360 Slim, especially considering seeing how cheap they are, than to buy that and then buy a hard drive, a official Microsoft hard drive later down the line.
Right.
Yeah. Pro tip.
Right, so any more collections/collectors woes?
Yeah, well, I'll just throw this out there. I don't like the video game store in my area. What is up with this I don't want to sound like this podcast is all negative, but I guess I should get this gripe out there. What is up with like mom and pop shop video game stores and like this elitist gamer mentality? Like, I don't know if you've been like, I know we never had that problem in the stores we frequented back in Virginia, but I don't know, man. Something about this one up here, just like if you're not in with them, I don't know. They can be kind of like condescending. Never experienced that at like a shop like that.
Sort of like what do you mean you haven't played X? X is the greatest game of our generation. No?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like that. I don't know. They can just be. It depends. Definitely, when you're going to a video game store, man, you've just got to find just the right one. Like any market out there, there's going to be a couple of bad apples in anything. So maybe it's just this one I'm going to, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not cool.
Well, for me, the game stores I frequented, it was always, if the price was right, I didn't care if the person behind the counter was a saint or a douche, so long as I walked out with what I wanted for a fair price.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get it. And I don't know. I won't say it's one store in particular, because I do frequent about 5 or 6 stores in the Charlotte area, so good luck guessing which one I'm talking about. Just throwing that out there.
The only place I can buy games nearby is Walmart.
You don't even have a GameStop in the area?
Not for a good, probably what, 50...
Drive an hour in any direction and you'll hit a GameStop, but nothing
one
between there.
At that point, I'm buying it off Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's probably your best bet. I've snagged an occasional really good deal from Walmart for something on clearance, but yeah, overall, I don't think it would be the best place to go and buy physical copies to build up a collection.
My biggest gripe with getting stuff from Walmart is they don't mark their stuff down until way too late.
Yeah, but I mean, it eventually is all going to get marked down, so you just never know. I guess whenever you go in, you just got to check the clearance racks, right?
Yeah. Well, then you always see those pictures of Walmarts that still have like one Dreamcast game sitting up there marked for $24, brand new PS1 in the box.
I've seen PlayStation 1 games at Walmart as recent as like 6 months ago.
Really?
It was like a baseball game.
Yeah.
And they still had it marked for like $19.99.
Yeah. It's expected.
Yeah,
they probably found it in the back and threw it out.
I think my Walmart still has a lot of copies of rock band Aerosmith. Which one did they make for that?
They made a couple.
They made a bunch, yeah.
They made an Aerosmith and an AC/DC one.
AC/DC, I think. Aerosmith was Guitar Hero, wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Music
yeah,
games.
you're right. You're right. There was a Rock Band.
Was Rock Band Activision or was that Guitar Hero?
I don't know.
I want to say that
Activision
was Guitar Hero.
Okay.
Yeah, because they drove it in
Harmonix
Tony Hawk
was
style.
Harmonix, that's it.
Rock Band.
Yeah. I bet they were hoping that hype train would never end and just keep printing money every few months like that.
I'm sure quite a few people that were working with that company are far richer than any of us will ever be.
Oh, definitely.
And will never work on another video game in the rest of their life.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They rode that ship for a good 5 years and pumped out the cash.
I remember how huge Rock Band and Guitar Hero were when they came out, and I, in fact, got caught up in the craze myself. In fact, I still own one Rock Band game. But yeah, good times. I used to play on Expert all the time, and I was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Great way to show off at a party. I can play this fake guitar.
Yeah,
so well.
which, I didn't even care back then. And I remember specifically one person came in, they're like, oh, are you playing Guitar Hero? I was like, whatever, dude. I'm having the time of my life. Don't judge me. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
So,
really
like,
into Guitar Hero 3.
You could never look cool playing Guitar Hero, let's be honest.
Oh, I found my ways. I had the hair
or
for it, though.
or even the drums. You look ridiculous playing the drums.
That tiny
Now
little
it's
drum
playing
kit.
The drums.
Yeah.
Clack,
Yeah.
clack.
Yep. Even the microphone, the singing usually never got brought out amongst friends until alcohol got involved, and then that was usually when everybody decided they wanted to sing "Say It Ain't So" by Weezer.
That's because that's the only song most people can sing.
Yeah, and by the end of that, everybody was just ready to pass out. Let's be honest.
What pissed me off about the singing in those games was even if you were sounding great, it's like, no, screw you. So you'd end up singing to how the game
You have
measured
to
it.
fake it.
Yeah. So you end up sounding awful, but getting a great score.
Which I know Nick has experienced me singing in Rock Band at least once, where I hit those notes on the game, but
It's like, you fail.
did not sound great.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, gentlemen. So, how do y'all think this episode as a whole went?
Much better than episode 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? That doesn't exist.
What do you mean, episode 1.5? That's the HD
Episode
remix, right?
1.5, the people will never know episode 1.5.
It'll be a legend among the Brometheus community.
Oh my god, we should have never even brought it.
No, there is no 1.5 people.
As far as the viewers are... Oh,
What was that?
Ooh,
yeah, I came in a bit spotty.
hurt.
It's a little choppy.
It didn't sound good at all.
Nah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
All I heard
as
was,
far as
"Ooh."
as far as the viewers are concerned, I won the trivia.
What
Oh
trivia?
yeah. Oh my god. Come on now. We can't.
That's
Hey. Episode 1.5 is not real.
it's not.
Yeah.
It was a dream. It was a
Yeah.
dream all along.
Just
Mhm.
like that one video game.
Yep.
Yeah.
What video game?
I don't
What are you
know.
talking about?
There's a few where you just
Another
end up
one.
waking up. I think there was a Mario game where you woke up and it was all a dream. I forget which one
Link's
it was.
Awakening. It's in this-
There was a
it's in
Mario
the-
game where you wake up and it was a dream. Oh yeah, Link's Awakening.
I don't know. Sounds about right.
Yeah, Link's Awakening was a dream, wasn't it?
One of those was. It sounds like a right title for it.
Yeah, just stop, Robert. It's choppy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
God damn it. It's alright. No Duke Nukem soundboard for this episode.
Hey, just try to throw out balls of steel in here, just for good measure, though.
Oh my god, really? I just closed it out. Hold up.
We'll bring it up later, and we'll just bask in its
Alright, well-
glory.
I've got balls of steel.
Beautiful.
Yep. There we go. The important one came through.
Alright,
Yes.
Jesus. That's all that matters.
Just
Finally.
needed permission first.
Yes.
Yep. Alright.
Can't sneak in balls of steel like that.
Alright.
Mhm.
I'm satisfied. I at least got one bit from the soundboard in there, so.
Yeah. Hopefully, episode 3 will have at least 3 times more soundboard.
3 times more balls.
6 whole balls of steel.
Well, if we can... Nah, I'm not gonna go there.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we have an official time count on this podcast?
We're at about just under 70 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Y'all got anything else you want to bring up? I don't mind, extending this a little bit.
Let's see here. So I don't think any of us have played it, but Goat Simulator, that's a game, man.
Hey, I have played it. Oh,
Let's talk
yeah.
about
Played
Goat
it.
Simulator.
So, to give a little background here, I bought Goat Simulator a little over a week ago, and Matt lives his own personal Goat Simulator in that there are goats pretty close to his house, and he sometimes takes care of them.
One was born just yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Yes, baby goat's adorable. But,
They eat everything.
yeah. Goat
Really?
Simulator has taught me that they are indestructible, capable of destroying houses in mere seconds, and can use jetpacks. Can you confirm or deny any of these facts?
Most of those things are canon to real life. I haven't seen a goat use a jetpack, but I don't know how else they would get on that goat house that's a lot taller than they are.
Oh, the
So
goat tower?
I would not put it past them.
Yeah. The goat tower is pretty awesome. In playing this game, I have become king of the goats, or was it queen? I don't know. I sacrificed people to a demonic ritual and became a Satan goat. What else did I do?
Jesus.
I went into an anti-gravity facility with my goat. That was
Is
interesting.
that a sex joke, Nick? Because it should be.
I really don't even know how you could make that into a sex joke. Like, normally I can have a very perverted mind, but I put my goat in her anti-gravity facility doesn't really flow for me.
Well, you changed a couple words and it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very... Whoa, we got some feedback right now. It's a very interesting game. $10. I think I recommended it last episode. I still recommend it.
$10. All right, I might have to check this thing out and see how it relates to my own life as a man who takes care of goats and also has a bit of a goatee. So firing on all cylinders over here.
Yeah, I would have mentioned the goatee, but you can't really see you too well.
I think I should wear a brighter shirt next time.
When the Brometheus Gaming remaster comes out on the PS4, it will have enhanced shadows, and you'll actually be able to see Matt in better detail.
Well, if the shadows are enhanced, how darker shadows?
It's gonna have better lighting effects, next-gen lighting effects.
Right.
Only in some areas, though, and only if you have enough torch left.
Yep.
Oh, that timer on the torch. But no more Dark Souls talk. We've had enough Dark Souls talk for
Dark Souls, the Dark Souls cast. Next
Dark
time.
Souls hour of Dark Souls. Right. Yep. So,
Hold up, can I add one Dark Souls thing? So, like, I've obviously played the least out of all of us. Do you know what the disc on the 360 version looks like?
no, I got the Prepare to Die
hold up,
edition
hold up.
on the PC.
I guess I gotta pull mine out, then. I guess I gotta pull it out. Hold up.
Stick it right in the anti-gravity chamber.
Yeah, I really wish the PC version had released simultaneously. That would have been much
Me
nicer.
too. It's really a good way to make me probably buy it a second time when the inevitable expansion comes out. in
So,
one.
don't ruin this for me, but I've encountered that gentleman once. Can you see him?
Who is that?
Dark
Don't ruin
Knights.
it!
Dark Knights?
He
Yeah,
scared
Dark
the
Knights.
living
Oh,
piss
so
out
it's
of me.
just an enemy.
He
I don't know
scared
if
the
I'd
piss
call
out of
those
me.
just an enemy, but they will
Yeah.
continue to do that for a while.
Alright, so
In your butt.
yeah. Obviously I've played the least amount of Dark Souls, but the first time I ran up on this dude, I just saw him and he was standing back to me, right?
He's not even looking at you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up and
Not on
whack
his
him a couple
radar.
times. And so after a couple times of that, I realized he was just gonna kick my ass no matter what. So I was like, so what the hell's over here? So eventually
I
I
know
got
what you're
good.
talking about.
I snuck past him, I got the ring right, and I hauled ass back to the freaking last what do you call it?
Bonfire?
Bonfire. So I ran back there. I'm like, ha ha ha. I got the ring. I'm all safe. So I put the controller down and I'm just like, I'm walking, I left my room because I went to go get a drink, and I come back, and this freaking dude is right there by the bonfire, and he's freaking just killing me. And I'm like, are you freaking serious? After it took him like 7 minutes, but he eventually tracked me back down to where I was.
That's awesome. No aggro radius for this guy.
The Dark Knights are very...
I don't do well when shit chases me. Like,
yeah. There are a few enemies like that where they're unrelenting. You just have to man up and kill them or bitch up and die.
Well, it worked out. It was fine though, because he killed me right by the bonfire, and I respawned right there, and I could just pick up all my souls.
Yeah, that guy you're talking about right before the second boss, you're not supposed to fight him at that point.
Yeah.
It's
I got the ring.
Fight to do early.
I got the ring.
Yeah, which I don't remember which ring it is. I don't think it was very useful.
I think it's a decent early, if I remember.
Yeah.
It adds extra defense when your health is low.
Ah, okay.
That's not bad to have.
Right.
Yeah.
If you got the slot for it.
I've got 2 slots.
Hey, Dark Souls 2, big improvement. You get 4 slots. What? Still not enough.
I love to play the slots.
Especially when they give you...
This chick's pretty cool. She said she's gonna play the sluts. Something like that. Good God, I destroyed that. That was so bad. Can we cut that?
Nope, nope. It's part of episode 1.5 now. I mean,
episode 1.5? What is that?
I don't know.
Quit mentioning episode 1.5. It is forever lost.
That was just a dream you had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We weren't even on Skype, man.
Wasn't there, like, another game that had, like, it was just... Oh, God, this has happened before!
Speaking of Eternal Darkness,
Blue Screen of Death.
I want to play Eternal Darkness.
I want to play Eternal Darkness too, but I can't find it for a decent price anywhere.
Yeah. GameCube games, man. Rarer than unobtainium.
My GameCube collection came to a screeching halt when GameStop stopped carrying GameCube games because they were just that much harder to find, period. Also, obviously it's not at GameStop, but like no retailers were carrying them. So I think I'm stuck at 44 GameCube games.
Still a quite respectable amount.
Yeah, but that number's not going up anytime soon. It used to be able to hold its own against my PS2 and Xbox collection, but that's not the case anymore. They're just not that easy to come by.
PS2 is still easy to come by. I ran into GameStop still having PS2 games.
Yeah,
constantly.
Yeah, certain ones around here still carry PS2. It's not going to be anything good.
I don't think they're restocking them at any point. I think it's just what's left. But I got Persona 3 and 4 pretty easily within the past year, so...
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright, guys. So, you think it's about time to wrap it up?
How's our time looking?
Well, my kid's already 2.5, so I should have wrapped it up a few years ago. Not appropriate?
Oh my god, you were just... No, it's appropriate. It's fine. I foresee a lot of this in the future episodes. That's yet to be determined if it's good or bad.
Right.
But overall, how do y'all think it went? I think it went fantastic.
Yeah. A worthy episode 2, I deem it. Let us make another!
Oh, y'all people will have to wait another 6.5 days for that.
Damn. Alright, yeah, I think we got a good...
Gentlemen?
Yeah.
I say, shall we reconvene here same time next week?
I don't know if we want to bring this Matt guy back.
Yeah, I'll be around.
We'll see how the people like him, and we'll put it to a vote. No, I'm joking, Matt.
Welcome to come back anytime. We always welcome guests.
But,
happy to be here.
Happy to have you. No homo.
Alright.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Let's wrap it up. Do we want to throw some more Duke Nukem soundboard at this before we go?
No, there's been plenty of that. Let's,
oh, come on. Don't you want to come get some ending?
I'm not pulling it back up.
Alright.
Hold up. God. Alright.
Talked him into it. Prometheus Gaming.
I had
some.
just closed this out too. Jesus.
Peer pressure. It's okay. Just do it.
Everybody's doing it.
Reaching for birth control. Damn, you're ugly.
Ah.
I think that's a good note to go out on. Good night, everybody.
I don't know what else notes can go out on.
Yeah. Come on, let's just wrap it up. No more Duke Nukem sound.
All right, so good stuff, y'all. Good times. So anyway, for Brometheus Gaming, this is Dragonmaster X.
This is Arbeyem,
And this is Matt Van.
the most creative of us.
Yeah.
It was good talking.